both with excellent defenses, offenses, speed, punching power, both undefeated, both with belts. It would be a unification fight. It almost never happens. Almost never. In a 50-50 fight.
Period. That is the fight everyone should want. That is the #1 desirable fight in all of combat sports. There is no other fight that anyone should want more.
They're meeting at a great time, and whoever wins this fight should be the supreme 154-pounder right now.
Is this a fight that you dare to say is a 50-50 fight?
Yeah, it gives a 50-50 fight. I give it more, it's 50-50 in a sense, but because of the experience, you can go 60-40, 60 with Boots, 40 with Xander, but it kind of is a 50-50 fight. Yeah.
Max Kellerman joined Stephen A. Smith to deliver a bold prediction for the long-awaited clash between Jaron Ennis and Xander Zayas, challenging the popular belief that Ennis will dominate. Kellerman argued that Zayas has the precision, ring IQ, and composure needed to shock the boxing world.
Thing to say, Boots is this future superstar. He beat this guy and that guy and that guy. Meantime, when you actually make the fights, and it's like, oh, he's really going to fight that guy? Is he going to win? Where are you with this?
Where I am, Max, is that I want to give a lot of credit to Xander Zayas. You know, Xander Zayas, young guy, he wanted this fight. He called for the fight. He made it happen quick after the Virgil Ortiz-Boots fight fell apart. So fair play to Xander. He has a lot of confidence in himself, even though he's going to be the underdog. And you're right, Boots hasn't proven anything yet. Not his fault, but he hasn't fought anyone. He looks special. Now we're going to find out.
Stephen A. Smith also praised Zayas, calling him a special talent who deserves far more recognition. He suggested that Zayas has the tools to upset Boots Ennis, saying, "This brother is special, and we need to recognize that. He deserves to be seen, and he deserves a mega fight."
Brother is special, and we need to recognize that, and he deserves to be seen, and he deserves...
Max Kellerman emphasized that Xander Zayas has boldly chosen to face Jaron Ennis, putting both his title hopes and reputation on the line by stepping in against arguably the toughest opponent available. It is a dangerous move that could define his entire career.
The thing about Xander, you're right, you got to give him props. When you have a built-in fan base, in other words, it's not just that you're of a certain ethnic or national group, but you're undefeated. You've been groomed and promoted as maybe the future star that group's fan base will follow. You're risking a lot because you have a built-in economic engine behind you. And when you're a guy who can be put in a position to pick and choose, and you choose Boots, Gabe, what does that say?
Absolutely. This is a fight he definitely didn't have to take, man. You know, he's a 2-division champion right now. And for him to choose the toughest guy on paper right now, I mean, skill-wise, Boots, it's crazy. You know, it's crazy. He could have went a different route, but he chose...
Roy Jones, Jr., praised Xander Zayas as a complete and highly versatile fighter, highlighting his rangy frame, ability to box effectively on the inside and outside, and sharp body punching skills. He also noted Zayas' maturity for his age, describing him as one of the most well-rounded and dangerous opponents in the division.
Zayas is a very good fighter, a complete fighter, a fighter who I think presents next to the most, he's probably the second most difficult guy to fight in the weight class because he's rangy. He can do so many things. He can fight inside, he can fight outside. He's a great body puncher. He's a very, very respected guy, and I think he's very mature for his age. Boots, on the other hand, is looking for that coming out party type fight. So he got to fight somebody at this point. And because he couldn't get A, he went to B. And I like that about Boots because Boots saying, I want all the smoke. If this one won't take me, I'll go find the next one. And so, since he couldn't make the fight with Ortiz, he made the fight with Xander. This is what you want to see. This is a barn burner, I think. May the best man win, but both of these guys are capable of becoming the biggest threat to Fundura in the weight class because right now, Fundura is still the king of...
Jones, Jr., added that while many fans wanted to see Jaron Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz, he believes the matchup with Xander Zayas could be even more intriguing and competitive.
Tested by another fighter beforehand. I wanted to see him fight Virgil Ortiz first because those,
at 54.
Yes, because those two guys were kind of on a collision course. However, I think Golden Boy and Virgil Ortiz had some issues. So now Boots went to the next best thing, which is even better than Virgil Ortiz. He went to Xander.
Trainer Robert Garcia also praised Xander Zayas as a talented and confident young fighter, saying he is stepping up to a very dangerous challenge by facing Jaron Ennis. Garcia respected Zayas for taking risks at such a young age and believed his confidence and positive mindset give him a real chance in the matchup.
Versus Xander is a very good consolation prize to get if we're not getting Virgil versus either of them. What are your thoughts on that fight?
Look, it's a great fight, and Boots getting those challenges out there. Xander deciding to fight Boots on a very dangerous, challenging fight for himself. You know, you gotta respect, you know, that decision. You know, if the Virgil fight didn't happen, and then Virgil versus Boots is not happening, and Xander stepping in, you know, you gotta respect that kid, you know, for being 23 and taking those challenges. You gotta respect that, you know. My pick, I would probably say, goes to Boots because talent-wise, but you know, Xander's positive about himself, man. He sounds very confident. I talked to him and he's very confident, very positive.
On the other hand, many experts believe Xander Zayas shows predictable tendencies, such as leaning left while attacking, which leaves him vulnerable to short right hands and counters, an area Ennis could exploit effectively. Despite solid movement and activity, Zayas is also viewed by some as lacking elite knockout power and has been hit cleanly by less dangerous opponents.
Of Xander Zayas, and you kind of touched on that. You know, he gets himself in certain spots where he doesn't throw punches. Go ahead and elaborate.
So when he's in the middle, so when he's on the center line, he might throw punches, but there's no power behind him. And if he's sitting on his right hand, same thing. He throws punches, quick shots, but those aren't the really dangerous shots. When he's trying to exchange and he wants to hurt you, you'll see his head go off center to the left over and over again. So he peaks, sort of like, I remember Salvador Sanchez used to hit you with those Jones, but then he'll peek over. So he'll peek over, throw a quick right hand, or he'll peek over, and if you freeze, or if he catches the right look that he's looking for, he's shooting a left hook or left hand to the body or left hand to the head almost every time. You know what I mean? And he throws with weight and with power. That's what he does to try to hurt his opponents, right? But that gets him caught because that's his rhythm. Every time he was there against Sparmer was hitting him with short right hands and was just timing his move. Like whenever he would peek over here, that short right hand was coming almost every time, and Sparmer was catching him right on the chin with those. And then when he's pulling back out of that, he's catching him with hooks. So he was short right hand, left hooks almost all day. It's just that Sparmer was a smaller guy, couldn't really hurt him, but he was hitting him. And that's what I pay attention to, is like, Boots is fast enough and athletic enough to still catch you in those positions, but it's not like you're fighting a smaller guy.
Terrence Crawford said it may still be too early for Xander Zayas to be thrown into such a high-level fight at this stage of his career. He praised Zayas' talent and confidence, but warned that experience matters at the elite level, suggesting patience is key before facing top names like Jaron Ennis.
In his career, but it shows his heart and his confidence, you know, that he has in himself, and he's ready to go make history for his country, and he's going to do real well in that fight. You know, I just think, you know, right now, you know, it's a little bit too early.
Jaron Ennis expressed full confidence ahead of the Xander Zayas showdown, declaring, "I'm the biggest name at 154. He said he is taking over the division and believes no one brings more excitement or talent. Ennis insisted this fight is only the beginning of his dominance at super welterweight.
Feeling great, man. About to be a two-time weight division unified champ. Man, I'm just living my legacy, man. It's only up. You know, I'm about to show the world I'm the best in the world. I'm gonna continue to keep showing the world I'm the best in the world. Like this boxing game mine, straight like that.
Now,
Right now, everyone seems to be counting on Jaron Ennis. That level of spotlight may have boosted his confidence, and perhaps even his ego, heading into the Xander Zayas fight.
And the questions that Boots was asking. So it was really one way.
Like I said, you know, both of the guys seem to be kind of, you know, I wouldn't say soft-spoken, but they seem respectful. You know, Boots, he always been kind of chill. I seen Xander being kind of chill. I could see, you know, Xander putting a chip on his back because everybody counting him out. You know, I could see him having a chip on his shoulder because everybody's counting him out. Everybody's just, you know, so high on Boots. So I could see that fueling him But as far as, Boots getting all tough with him, I don't understand that. I don't, he's the golden child. I don't understand what he got to feel like he got to do. I think his role is to just stay quiet and handle his business with his fist.
Veteran trainer Coach Reggie issued a stern warning to Xander Zayas, acknowledging his talent, but stressing that he is still too young and inexperienced for elite-level wars. He praised Zayas as a great prospect, yet cautioned that facing top opposition like Jaron and he's right now could expose gaps in his development and timing.
The fight, I like Xander. I just think that Xander don't know enough. Yeah, to take a fight like this. I mean, granted, you get in this game, you in this game to be the best. But I don't think he's ready for a fight like this. I mean, Xander's good, he can fight, but he's still a kid, he's still a baby. Still in learning stages right now.
Unified champion, right?
He is.
Big kid. Seems like he's getting better each and every fight.
And I agree, but Boots ain't the Reds, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, are they going to pay him enough? You know what I'm saying? Are they going to pay him enough? Because I'm sure after they fight, he's not going to fight.
Respected boxing journalist Mike Coppinger believes Xander Zayas taking on Jaron Ennis is a smart business move, even as the underdog. He argues that facing a proven, high-profile fighter like Ennis would significantly boost Zayas' marketability and status in boxing. Even if the odds are against him, Coppinger says the gamble could pay off financially and raise his reputation with fans, promoters, and networks. By stepping up instead of choosing easier opponents, Zayas shows ambition and a willingness to test himself at the elite level, something that could shape his long-term career growth and visibility in the sport.
There's so much hype around Boots. He's an incredible athlete, he has a great jab, he can box, he's in good fights, he has power. But Xander Zayas at 23 is definitely an improving fighter. And like you said, Gabe, he's an economic engine, right? He could be fighting in Puerto Rico. He just sold out in January. He could fight in New York. He's going to probably have the bigger fan support here. And I think this is a great business move for Xander, too. He's going to get a career-high payday. And like you said, 190 he walks around at. He hasn't had much more time at 154.
And also, I'm thinking about is if you really watch Boots does look special all the time. But there's cases where he gets hit a lot. And you're like, man, for you to be so good and so special, why are you getting hit from some of these lower-class fighters? So Xander might have seen that. So you know what? Yeah, I know Boots is special. I know he's really, really good, etc. But I see things in this game.
Boots Ennis is regarded as one of the top fighters at 154 pounds, carrying the reputation of an elite and highly skilled competitor. Xander Zayas, meanwhile, surprised many observers and even members of his own team by aggressively pursuing this high-risk fight instead of taking a safer and more traditional title defense. At the face-off, both fighters showed strong confidence and exchanged sharp words, setting a tense atmosphere. Zayas, only 23 years old and still developing at the championship level, handled the pressure well and appeared composed. However, Ennis' greater experience, ring maturity, and proven track record against elite opponents remain major advantages heading into the matchup.
He's going to have confidence. He believes he's the best 154 in the world. Xander Zayas, who even people on his own side wondered why he was pushing for this fight. Even his trainer needed an explanation from him before he signed off on him taking this fight. His promoter, who admitted on the dais that, like, his plan for Xander was to put him in MSG, put him in Puerto Rico, do a nice title defense. This was all Xander Zayas. But Xander on that stage continues to look like, act like, sound like a guy that firmly believes that he is the better fighter in this matchup. What were your takeaways from watching Boots and Xander face-to-face for the first time?
It was a fun press conference because Boots was really confident. He was brimming with confidence, and normally you see Boots more, more chill, with a little bit more swagger. He's a little bit more, soft with his comebacks. But no, he was brimming with confidence, and him and Zayas were going back and forth, and I think Zayas handled it perfect. For a 23-year-old champion who hasn't really been against the best, he's facing somebody that's potentially pound for pound one of the best, and Zayas handled it. He handled it with flying colors, man. And I think Boots better respect what he has in front of him. Even though the measurements stay the same, I saw a bigger, younger fighter motivated to do so.
Both fighters are seen as having exploitable defensive flaws, but in different ways. Ennis can be hit when he commits heavily on offense, often opening himself up while attacking and creating chances for counters. Zayas, on the other hand, is still developing defensively and can be caught out of position due to inexperience and timing mistakes, especially against sharp punchers. Because of this, analysts believe Ennis holds the clear edge in overall skill, natural ability, and experience against higher-level competition, which is why Zayas enters as the underdog despite being a unified champion. Strategically, Zayas is expected to apply pressure and try to force Ennis backward. However, Ennis is an excellent counterpuncher who is comfortable fighting off the back foot, which could allow him to neutralize the aggression and control the pace of the fight.
And if Boots is not careful and is a little bit too much overconfident, and this is the type of fight where he can be exposed. There was something both of them were going on, saying they both get hit. Yes, they do, but Boots gets hit being offensive. Zayas gets hit, being a little bit pulling his head back, rookie mistakes. And I think a fighter like Boots can capitalize on that, and Zayas better be on his P's and Q's. He better have that sharp technique, because he's dealing with a more confident, maybe overconfident, a more skilled and naturally gifted fighter in Boots, and that's the reason that the unified champion is the underdog against Zayas.
Yeah, I can't help but wonder what Zayas' game plan is going to be, because his team, I think, is going to want him to try to push Boots back. And you saw some of the things that Xander said. He said he felt that Boots has been a weight bully for most of his career. So that and some conversations that I had with people around him told me that they want to be a more offensive-oriented fighter. When guys come at Jaron Ennis, he is an excellent counterpuncher. He's excellent fighting, going backwards. He kind of eats up that style. Now, maybe Xander and his team can say, he's never done that against a guy on my level. And that's probably true. I mean, look, Stanionis is a really good fighter. Boots carved him up. Lima, certainly not on Xander's level, but he can.
Hall of Fame legend Winky Wright said fighters only become truly great by defeating great opponents. And he believes the matchup between Xander Zayas and Jaron Ennis is exactly that kind of elite test. He explained that both men are stepping into a defining moment where skill, discipline, and courage will matter most. Wright emphasized that fights like this do more than entertain. They shape legacies, forcing fighters to prove themselves against top-level opposition and earn genuine greatness.
Thurman, there's also the triangle that I like to call Virgil Ortiz, Xander, and Boots. Right now, it looks like Xander and Boots are going to fight. What are your thoughts on that fight?
It's going to be a good fight, man. The division looking good right now, and I just want to see all the fighters fight each other, man. The best need to fight the best. That's what's going to bring the fans to boxing. And, you can only be great by beating somebody great. You know what I'm saying? You can have a bunch of wins with no great win. You're just a good fighter, but you want to be great, you need to beat another great fighter. So they got the opportunity.
Sean Porter shared his thoughts on Jaron Boots, Ennis, describing him as a true phenomenon in boxing and someone he considers electricity waiting to shock opponents. He said Ennis simply has not had the right opportunity yet to fully showcase his greatness. Porter pointed to the June 27th showdown with Xander Zayas as the perfect stage for Boots to shine. He expects both fighters to bring out their best, saying it will not be one-sided and that the better man will win. Porter added that fans from both sides may not like hearing it, but the matchup is genuinely competitive. He believes Ennis has special talent, but Zayas' confidence, discipline, and skill make this a serious test for both men.
So, if this is what a phenom looks like, then what the hell is Boots Ennis?
Yeah.
And I was like, so that's where calling him the amazing Boots Ennis comes from. The dude is electricity waiting to shock you.
Yeah.
And he just hasn't had the opportunities to shock, right? So he's got Xander coming up here pretty soon. That fight's in June or May?
June 27th.
That fight's at the end of June. And I think that we will see an amazing Boots Ennis against a superb Xander Zayas. And I think the best man will win that fight. I don't think that that's a one-sided fight either way. If you're from Philly, you don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? If you're Puerto Rican, you don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? But it's a great matchup. But I just wanted to answer to that real quick. I just from what I was exposed to over the weekend, and that just has been in my mind. So when I came to Boots, it was like If you call in everybody else phenoms and stuff like that, then we just gonna have to call him the amazing Boots Ennis.
Max Kellerman recently weighed in on the junior middleweight division, noting how competitive and chaotic the landscape is right now. While he did not officially name a clear #1 fighter, his analysis highlighted how closely matched the elite contenders are, especially at 154 pounds, where rankings constantly shift through major fights. Kellerman has long described junior middleweight as one of boxing's toughest divisions, where styles, timing, and experience often matter more than height or undefeated records. In his breakdowns, he repeatedly stresses that fighters at this weight must consistently face elite opposition to earn true recognition, because one standout win is never enough to secure long-term supremacy.
Boots match up with him.
Boots matches up, you know, he might be the best fighter. I think he's the most talented fighter at 154.
Is he ever going to fight any of these guys?
Yeah, I think so, absolutely. I think we're going to see him fight somebody this summer. We'll get to it a little bit later in the show.
Look, what do you think of, like, when I look at all those names, I see a bunch of good fighters. But when you say who could be special out of all those guys, my best prediction would be Boots. But you got to beat these guys. You can't just make us feel that way. You got to actually do it.
To me, the top guys in that division is Boots and Virgil.
Right. That's why everyone wants to see that fight.
You know what I mean? So, and Boots just got that. He got that swag. He got that speed, that power, good defense. He from Philly.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. I was waiting.
By the way, these two are not going to get
like, if you're not a big boxing fan or a real professional boxer, you just watch all these guys fight, and you watch Boots, you're like, oh, wow. The wow effect, he has that. So we ask this question, it's not even no shot of a doubt who's the most talented.
So now the stage is set for one of the most intriguing battles in boxing. On one side stands Jaron "Boots" Ennis, the explosive superstar determined to prove he rules the 154-pound division. On the other stands Xander Zayas, the young, fearless challenger ready to shock the world and turn potential into greatness. This is more than just a fight. It's a clash of ambition, talent, and legacy. Will Ennis confirm his dominance and silence all doubters? Or will Zayas rise to the occasion and deliver the breakout victory of his career? One thing is certain. When these two step into the ring, somebody's future changes forever. Don't blink, because boxing history could be made.